Imagine waking up in a prison cell so overcrowded that there's not even space to stretch out. Your only option is to sit upright, pressed against other inmates with someone's feet resting uncomfortably close to your face, while yours do the same to another. This isn't a scene from a dystopian movie. It's the harsh reality inside some of the most notorious women's prisons in Africa. One of these prisons has recently gained attention across social media, its reputation so chilling that stories of its past still echo through its walls. Can you guess which one it is? A shocking photo has been making waves online. Women hanging in chains inside a prison. But this isn't just any prison. Do you know its name, or the horrors hidden behind its walls? Pei Prison, perched along Talon's rugged coastline, is as merciless as the sea beyond. Once a fortress, it now crams more than 4,000 inmates into a space meant for just 1,200. Frost coats the walls in winter, and thin blankets offer little protection against the freezing air. Prisoners huddle together for warmth as disease spreads through the overcrowded cells. But what makes Pei Prison truly terrifying isn't just the cold or the illness. It's the buried stories of cruelty and suffering that haunt every corridor. Amina recalls the harsh reality she faced. With almost no health care, even minor sickness could become deadly. Yet, despite everything, she never let go of hope. "Even in the darkest times, I prayed not to be forgotten," she said. In the next chapter, we'll take you inside a prison so inhumane it's been called hell on earth. Stay tuned. Once a military stronghold deep in the Syrian desert, Tadmore Prison became a chilling symbol of cruelty and fear. But how did its dark legacy last for so many years? Stay with us as we uncover the haunting truth. Built during the era of French rule, Tadmore was later turned into a prison in the 1980s under President Hafez al-Assad. One of the darkest chapters in its history unfolded on June 27, 1980. After a failed attempt on Assad's life, more than 600 prisoners lost their lives in an act meant to instill absolute terror. Amnesty International once called Tadmore one of the most brutal prisons in the world, where inmates endured additional mistreatment often used as a tool to break spirits and destroy morale. Layla, a survivor, shared her painful memories of life inside. "Tadmore wasn't just a prison, it was a place designed to erase who you were," she said. "Each day was filled with uncertainty. You never knew what was coming next." How do such atrocities remain hidden for so long? Share your thoughts in the comments below. By uncovering these stories, we ensure they are never forgotten. In the next chapter, we take you inside Anura Prison, where surviving each day is an endless fight. Stay tuned. Built to hold just 800 inmates, Anura Prison in Madagascar now holds more than 4,000 women, 5 times its intended capacity. How does anyone endure such extreme overcrowding and harsh conditions? According to Amnesty International's 2023 report, nearly 60% of Anura's inmates are pre-trial detainees. Many wait months, even years before they see a courtroom. This growing backlog only worsens the already unbearable congestion, turning the prison into a chaotic and suffocating space. Picture a room so packed that women sleep shoulder to shoulder, their feet resting against another's face. Ventilation is scarce, and the air is thick with the scent of damp walls and the struggles of inadequate sanitation. Meals are meager, usually just a small portion of boiled cassava. Demoa, a 33-year-old inmate, is a stark reminder of the injustices within this system. Arrested under charges related to a same-gender relationship, an act deemed illegal in Madagascar, she remained imprisoned for an additional 10 months even after being eligible for release. She witnessed firsthand the grim reality of life inside. "We're not criminals, we're forgotten," she said, her voice heavy with emotion. "I lost more than time, I lost a part of myself." Yet, even in the face of such hardship, there are signs of change. In 2019, Madagascar's President André Rajoelina acknowledged the crisis and introduced plans to improve prison conditions, including increased funding and reforms to address pre-trial detention. What do you think it would take to fix a prison system like Anura? Share your thoughts in the comments. Every voice matters in the fight for justice. Keep watching. In the next chapter, we reveal a prison where the only luxury is the iron shackles around your ankles. Bang Kuang Central Prison in Thailand is infamous for holding death row inmates and those serving lengthy sentences. Every new prisoner spends their first 3 months locked in heavy iron shackles. For those facing the harshest punishment, these chains are not temporary. They are welded to their ankles, a constant weight reminding them of their fate. Life inside is just as brutal as its reputation suggests. Cells built for 6 people often hold twice that number, forcing inmates to sleep in shifts on the freezing concrete floor. Food is strictly rationed and wealth determines survival. Those without money are left with only a single bowl of rice and vegetables each day. Nina, a former inmate, recalls the moment she arrived at Bang Kuang. They handed me a blanket and pointed to a spot on the floor, she shares. Requests for medical care or even basic necessities often go unanswered, making survival even more difficult. Yet, despite the hardships, many prisoners find ways to endure and adapt. In our next chapter, we take you inside a prison where women fight for dignity in conditions beyond imagination. Stay with us. You won't want to miss it. But before we continue, if you'd like to support this channel, take 10 seconds to hit the notification bell and subscribe. It helps more than you know. And if you do, I'll keep bringing you the best content possible. Sounds like a deal? Situated on the outskirts of Cairo, Alcanoter is Egypt's largest women's prison. Originally designed to hold just 500 inmates, it now houses more than twice that number. Inside, overcrowded cells leave women sleeping on thin mats, packed so tightly they can barely move. Sanitation is a constant battle. The shared washrooms have no running water, and proper toilets are non-existent. Women are forced to rely on buckets, and hygiene products are scarce. The absence of basic necessities, including menstrual supplies, makes life even harder. Family visits are rare and strictly limited, just 15 minutes every 2 weeks. For many inmates, this brief encounter with loved ones is their only link to the outside world. Beyond the physical hardships, life in Alcanoter takes a deep emotional toll. Women seek small comforts, sharing stories, singing songs, but in a place like this, even the strongest spirits can break. Imagine being trapped in a scorching desert, surrounded by overcrowded cells with no escape from the relentless heat. This is life inside Kchock prison, where survival is a daily struggle. Located southeast of Tehran, Kchock was never meant to house people. It was once a livestock facility. Now it holds more than 1,700 women in a space originally built for just 700. The desert climate brings unbearable heat in summer and bitter cold in winter. With little ventilation, the air is thick with the stench of sweat and waste. Medical care is nearly non-existent, the prison clinic lacks essential supplies, and severe illnesses often go untreated. According to Amnesty International's 2023 report, some inmates have waited months for critical lab results, leaving life-threatening conditions undiagnosed. Food is just as scarce. Meals consist of watery soup and rock-hard bread, barely enough to sustain the inmates. The available water is often unsafe to drink, forcing prisoners to buy expensive bottled water, if they can afford it. Yet, even in such dire conditions, the women of Kchock find ways to hold on to hope and preserve their dignity. How would you survive in a place like Kchock? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about how these inhumane conditions can be changed. Known as the graveyard of fallen Gong women, Hongjang prison is a place where silence holds more power than words. Hidden deep in the remote northeast of China, Hongjang prison has gained a grim reputation for its treatment of fallen Gong practitioners, a spiritual group banned by the Chinese government. Inside these walls, women endure forced labor and constant surveillance. Rows of cramped cells stretch down dimly lit hallways with barely any ventilation. The air is not only thick with humidity but also with fear. Loudspeakers blare propaganda while guards patrol day and night, enforcing absolute silence. Even the most basic actions like speaking or standing without permission are strictly controlled. Those who disobey face severe punishment, including solitary confinement. Liu Jingping, a former inmate, recalled being detained for distributing materials related to her beliefs. She described grueling conditions, forced to sit for hours with little rest. It felt like they were trying to erase who I was, she said, emphasizing the psychological toll. Similarly, Wang Chunyan shared how she was exposed to endless materials aimed at breaking her spirit. She described the overwhelming mental strain. It felt like I was losing myself, piece by piece. In the next chapter, we take you inside a prison that was meant to rehabilitate, but instead became a symbol of suffering and neglect. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss it. Named after a pioneer in prison reform, Julia Tutweiler Prison was meant to stand for justice and rehabilitation. Instead, it has become a haunting reminder of neglect, abuse, and shattered promises. Situated in Wetumpka, Alabama, Julia Tutweiler Prison for Women has struggled with overcrowding and inadequate health care for decades. Originally built to hold about 550 inmates, it has often housed nearly twice that number. The overcrowding forces women to sleep on the floor or squeeze into bunks meant for just one person. A report from the United States Department of Justice in 2024 highlighted ongoing concerns about systemic failures within the facility, including allegations of staff misconduct. Some women who have spoken out about mistreatment have faced retaliation, including disciplinary actions and loss of privileges. Healthcare access is another major issue, with delays in treating serious medical conditions. A 2023 review by the Equal Justice Initiative found that many inmates endured long waits for urgent medical care. Stay with us. In the next chapter, we take you inside Indiana Women's Prison, where history and controversy collide in the fight for justice. You won't want to miss it. Established in 1873, Indiana Women's Prison was the first correctional facility in the United States built exclusively for women, but beneath its long history lies a story of hardship and controversy. Originally designed to provide a safer space for incarcerated women, the prison once emphasized rehabilitation through education and vocational training. Yet over time, it became a stark example of how systemic failures can erode even the most well-intended reforms. Indiana Women's Prison reflects the deeper struggles faced by incarcerated women. Many arrive with histories of trauma, battles with substance use, or mental health challenges. Despite these realities, access to necessary support remains limited. A former inmate, Teresa, shared her experience. The system focuses more on punishment than rehabilitation. By the time you leave, you're often worse off than when you arrived. Deep in the heart of Turkey stands Bohal Prison, a place where overcrowding and mistreatment turned daily life into a relentless battle for survival. Originally designed to hold a limited number of inmates, Bohal Prison now confines more than twice its intended capacity. Cells built for 6 women often house 12 or more, leaving inmates to take turns sleeping on the cold floor. With little ventilation and barely any bedding, these cramped spaces become breeding grounds for disease. Sanitation is another daily struggle. Shared facilities are overcrowded, and access to clean water is limited. Basic hygiene products like soap are often unavailable, leading to widespread health issues including skin infections and illness. These conditions reveal the urgent need for better resources and infrastructure in prisons like Bohal. Layla, imprisoned over unpaid debts, described her time in an overcrowded cell with 14 women. "We had just one toilet for all of us. The conditions were unbearable, and keeping our dignity was the hardest part," she recalled. In our next chapter, we uncover the dark legacy of historical torture devices, beginning with the infamous iron chair. Stay with us. You won't want to miss it. The iron chair was one of the most chilling torture devices of the Middle Ages, a brutal symbol of the era's harsh punishments. Designed with a surface covered in sharp metal spikes, it inflicted excruciating pain on those forced to sit upon it. Victims were tightly bound, their own body weight pressing them deeper into the spikes. Some versions even featured heating mechanisms, intensifying the agony further. Beyond physical torment, the iron chair was a powerful psychological weapon. Historical records revealed that it was widely used across Europe to extract confessions from those accused of severe crimes, including heresy and witchcraft. The psychological toll was devastating. Many prisoners, desperate to end their suffering, confessed to crimes they never committed. One well-documented case from 17th century Germany tells of a woman accused of witchcraft. Under relentless torture, she admitted to impossible deeds, such as controlling the weather. Even after retracting her confession, the damage to her life was irreversible. The iron chair stands as a grim reminder of a time when fear and cruelty were instruments of control. Studying these devices offers a stark lesson on the importance of justice, human rights, and the need for compassion in today's world. Named after Saint Catherine of Alexandria, the Catherine's wheel carries a history filled with both suffering and transformation. Though originally a medieval instrument of punishment, today it stands as a symbol of resilience, strength, and defiance against oppression. Historically known as the breaking wheel, this device was used in Europe's Middle Ages and early modern period. Beyond its brutal purpose, it served as a public warning to others. But what makes it truly fascinating is the story behind its name, a tale that has inspired generations. Saint Catherine of Alexandria, a Christian martyr from the 4th century, became an enduring symbol of faith and courage. According to legend, she was sentenced to death on a spiked wheel for refusing to renounce her beliefs. But as the execution began, the wheel miraculously shattered, sparing her. Though her life ended by other means, her unwavering spirit made her an icon, especially for women who saw her as a beacon of strength in times of adversity. Her legacy influenced other historical figures, including Joan of Arc, who reportedly drew strength from Saint Catherine's story in her own fight against injustice. Like Catherine, Joan's determination in the face of overwhelming odds made her a symbol of resilience. Over time, the Catherine's wheel has evolved beyond its grim origins. In heraldry, literature, and culture, it now represents not just suffering, but the ability to rise above challenges and transform hardship into strength. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, courage and perseverance can inspire lasting change. In the next chapter, we explore the brutal practice of stoning, an ancient form of punishment that shockingly still exists in some parts of the world today. Stay with us. You won't want to miss it. Stoning is an ancient form of punishment where individuals accused of certain crimes were subjected to a group hurling stones at them. Mentioned in historical and cultural texts, this brutal practice has mostly disappeared, but continues to be reported in some regions. Historically, stoning was linked to extreme penalties for offenses deemed severe in certain cultural and religious traditions. Discussions about this punishment often reveal the complexities of historical justice systems and how they reflected the societal values of their time. Sadly, these systems frequently placed disproportionate burdens on certain groups, particularly women, due to deeply ingrained social inequalities. In modern times, international organizations have raised awareness of such practices whenever they occur, advocating for justice and human rights worldwide. These efforts highlight the importance of fair legal systems that ensure due process, equality, and protection from discrimination. A dark symbol of control. The name alone is enough to send chills down your spine. The breast ripper, a device that stands as a haunting reminder of the brutal punishments women faced in history. But what was its purpose, and why did societies turn to such extreme measures? This medieval instrument, shaped like sharp metal claws, was reportedly used as a punishment for women accused of offenses such as adultery or heresy. More than just a tool of physical pain, it was a public spectacle designed to instill fear and enforce strict societal norms. The suffering did not end with the punishment itself. Women subjected to this cruelty often carried deep emotional and physical scars, facing rejection and isolation from their communities. The trauma extended far beyond the moment of punishment, marking them as outcasts for life. In the next chapter, we uncover the practice of footbinding, an ancient beauty tradition rooted in cultural ideals but steeped in unimaginable pain. Stay with us, you won't want to miss it. Footbinding, a tradition that began in 10th century China, was a deeply rooted cultural practice that shaped the lives of young girls. Their feet were tightly wrapped with cloth, forcing them into the delicate lotus shape that symbolized beauty, status, and refinement in traditional Chinese society. This idealized foot size, often called the golden lotus, was seen as a mark of elegance, but the process came at a painful cost. Families encouraged foot binding, believing it would improve marriage prospects and social standing. By the time of the Qing dynasty, a significant number of Chinese women, especially those from noble families, followed this custom. Zhang Rong, now in her 90s, is one of the last surviving women to have experienced foot binding. In a 2023 interview, she recalled how it was once seen as a necessary step for social acceptance. Even today, she struggles with mobility issues, a lasting reminder of the practice's physical toll. Beyond the physical pain, foot binding shaped the way women viewed their roles in society. It reinforced the idea that conformity to beauty standards was more important than personal freedom. For many survivors, looking back on this tradition brings mixed emotions: acceptance, reflection, and a deep awareness of its impact. Although the practice was officially banned in 1912, its legacy remains a powerful reminder of how beauty ideals can shape culture and individual lives. Footbinding serves as a striking example of how tradition and societal expectations can redefine personal identity. Were corsets a symbol of grace and femininity, or a tool of restriction and control? These garments shaped more than just women's figures. They defined an era while raising debates about autonomy and beauty standards. The origins of corsets date back to the 16th century, when they were first designed as stays to flatten and shape the torso. By the Victorian era, they had evolved into tightly laced garments that sculpted the dramatic hourglass silhouette. Some women practiced extreme tight lacing, striving for waists as small as 18 inches, a pursuit that often led to health complications. Medical reports from the 19th century documented the effects corsets had on the body, from restricted breathing to digestive issues. Yet, despite these concerns, corsets remained essential in high society, representing wealth, discipline, and desirability in a world where appearance was prioritized over comfort. Beyond the physical toll, corsets also shaped women's mental and emotional experiences. Mary, a 19th century seamstress, wrote in her diary, "I dream of breathing freely, but my corset reminds me that freedom is not for women of my class." However, not all saw corsets as burdens. Some embraced them as symbols of poise and sophistication. Today, corsets have taken on a new role, often worn as fashion pieces or therapeutic aids for spinal support. Unlike their restrictive past, modern designs celebrate individuality and comfort, reflecting society's evolving standards of beauty and well-being. The pear of anguish, a mysterious artifact from history, blurs the line between fact and legend. But what does its story reveal about control, discipline, and the extremes societies once used to enforce obedience? This metal device, reportedly shaped like a fruit, was said to expand using a screw mechanism. Some historical accounts suggest it was used as a punishment for accused individuals, including women charged with witchcraft or heresy. However, its actual function remains debated. Some historians believe it was more symbolic than practical, serving as a chilling reminder of the consequences of defying authority. Regardless of its true purpose, the existence of such artifacts shows the lengths to which societies went to enforce conformity. More than just instruments of physical pain, they represented the suppression of autonomy, freedom, and self-expression. Even today, echoes of these past practices remind us of the ongoing struggle for justice and dignity. By exploring these stories, we gain a deeper understanding of history and the lessons it holds for the present and future. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. Comment below about the next country you want to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Thanks for joining us. Leave a comment, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting videos. See you in the next video.